What's for dinner? At my house tonight, we are headed over to see my parents, and I am taking dinner there. There's such a big crowd of us. We always just take a meal for everyone. I'm just going to do roast and potatoes in my pressure pot. I've already done a video on that, so I thought I would show everybody the bread, um, or my wheat bread. I guess I've showed you a bread. This is a different bread, and this is super simple, foolproof, can't go wrong, can't mess this one up bread. It's my oldest son's favorite, so I make it quite often. And I just got my mixer ready. I'm just going to use the paddle. This is a cup and a half of warm water. When you're baking, make sure it's warm so you activate your yeast, but if it's too hot, it will kill your yeast. And this is a half a cup of honey. And this is 3/4 of a tablespoon of yeast. I'm going to throw it in there and get it activating. Sugar always helps your yeast activate. And on the yeast, just a tip, it can go bad. I always throw mine in a mason jar, and I throw it in the freezer the second I get it. I always get the big one at Costco because I do a lot of baking. Even if the little packets or whatever you have, it's a lot of work to bake something. So make sure your yeast is good, and you can keep it way past the expiration date. Just throw it in the freezer. If you don't have room, fridge is better than nothing. So I'm going to get those two in there. This is a half a teaspoon of salt. This is a cup and a fourth of just white flour. If bread flour, white flour, whatever you have. I've used both. I can't really say that it made a big difference. And lastly, this is 2 cups of wheat flour. And I have my paddle on my mixer. You don't need to do your knead hook. You're just going to get it mixed together. And this is what it's going to look like. It's just it's sticky, and that's okay, because if it's too dry, then your bread's dry. So I'm going to just take that off. I've got my my big size saran wrap sitting here. I'm going to saran wrap that and let it rise for an hour. Oh, I forgot to mention this is part 1. I will be back with part 2.